The John Lebang Show has been known to make people laugh, sing, think, scream, throw things in rage, and generally lose their minds. Listener discretion is advised.
Worldwide and out to the greater universe, you're listening to the John Lebang Show.
Greetings, Earthlings, whether you're from Tahiti, the Congo, Italy, Detroit, or Taylor, Tucky. Welcome to another hat-wearing episode of the John Lebang Show. And as you know, if I'm wearing a hat and the glasses, I was up pretty late last night doing my thing, getting it all set up and whatever else not. And since I don't want to look extremely tired to all of you, because people then ask me, John, you look tired. Are you okay? Yeah, I just work a lot, bro. I work a lot. So to avoid that, I just give you the glasses and the hat, and I hope you don't mind. Got my cowboy going down. I got my cowboy going down right here at the beginning of the show. It's going to stay here the whole show because I ain't taking my hat off. My hair's all over the place there. We don't want you to see all that ratty stuff on my hair. We begin tonight with the topic of the Banger Music Awards because that's a subject that's been dominating my life, and a lot of my listeners of late especially are people who have been a part of the Banger Music Awards, whether they're a band or an artist or whatnot. And I like doing this at the beginning, plus with all the YouTube things going on, this first segment that's always broadcast on YouTube as well is trying to stay a little generic so I don't get the boot from YouTube prematurely for whatever reason, because they're going to find reasons to get rid of us. So the Banger Music Awards, giving a big update here because you guys have been doing just a tremendous job at promoting and getting the word out, getting your fans to vote for the different categories. And in fact, I want to give a big round of applause because you guys, what you don't know is not only have you reached all your fans, but you've reached everybody else's fans that's really participated. And outside of a couple local groups and a few other groups in general, all of you have put in some really good work at promoting not only yourself, but the whole music awards, which means everybody is getting out to people that they wouldn't normally get out to. And as a congratulations, I'd just like to tell you that in the first week after the nominations were announced and the voting began, we reached as a collective group 46,000 people in 1 week, which is, I mean, that's breaking records. I think 19,000 was a prior record, and we've been just shattering it. And we're still, even after the big initial week, because there's a lull always after the first initial push by all the bands, we're still holding up there 30,000 or whatever. Here in the second week, which is incredible, votes in the first week of the nominations were off the chart. In fact, we got as many ballots as in the first week as we did all of last year's Banger Music Awards. In total, we got 2,000 votes in the first week. Last year, we had 6,100 votes, and it took 8 weeks to do that. We have about 7.5 weeks, roughly, for the voting this year. And if this continues, or if it even remotely backs off a little bit, we're going to shatter that 6,000 because we're a third of the way there. And we only did it in 1 week. So congratulations to all of you who've put in the time and the effort, and hopefully some of the other bands that either haven't found out they're nominated. I don't know how they wouldn't have found out they're nominated since I've emailed them and contacted them on Facebook. Most of them have been sent Twitter tags to the posts that I've made on Twitter. So you'd think everybody would know what's going on by now, but I'm assuming the couple local acts that haven't done a darn thing, and the other acts that usually are really great for the show, they're kind of quiet, and I don't know what's up with that. But whatever, they outside of that, all of you guys have really put in just an amazing effort, and I can't thank you enough, because this wouldn't be happening without all of you and all your fans and your listeners and the people who support your music and then coming over to support us. Like I said, our likes are up, the website hits are even up higher. I think on the website, I know we broke records on the website as well. I don't have that in my notes, that's why I'm coming around a little late here, but we, and I don't know the exact total, but we're about 300 or 400% higher than last year's peak during the initial stage during the Banger Music Awards. Also want to remind you that we are now in the third round of the Battle of the Jams competition, which is a little bracket competition that we had 40 bands start out, and we're now down to 10. By the time most of you see this on the website or heard the broadcast on one of the various stations that carry the John Lebang Show, we will have been completely into the third round, which means the winners of this round move on to be finalists in the Crank It Up Award, which will then be placed on the website on the official ballot like all the other stuff is happening. They're going to have to make up some ground, those people, because they've been focusing their efforts on the Facebook Battle of the Jams competition to even get to this point. So they're going to be about 2.5 weeks behind in votes by the time they're actually announced as finalists. And the last 10 are just amazing. These bands have been working it, and that's why they're there. That's why this Crank It Up Award is made available for you guys. It's the people who really want to just, who connect with their fans and who want to really be a winner, right? All the other stuff is primarily chosen by me and my crackpot team of personalities that kind of pick and choose where everything goes. The exception to that is the Fan Favorite Award, which is a direct result of requests throughout the year. But outside of that, and this Crank It Up Award Battle of the Jams competition, that's what we're doing. We pick it, we decide, okay, these are the 5 best in this category, and those are the 5 best in that category. And we had a tough time deciding that because all the last minute entries really was filled with amazing tunes that had to be sorted through and like, is this better than this? Is that better than this? Because sometimes a fresh song will sound great over a tune you've heard a bunch of times, but on the other hand, sometimes the tune you're used to sounds better than a brand new song because you're used to it and you're not fully accustomed to this new song. And tunes can tend to grow on you over time. Like, you might not like it the first time, but the more you hear it, I mean, that's what you hear on the mainstream media, in all the radio stations that play the terrestrial bands. The mainstream commercial acts. They play it and play it and play it and play it. Like that one song from the chick from Detroit, the big chick. I don't know the words to the song, but it's some kind of popular rap, ghetto, hip-hop thing going on. I don't know if it's died off or not, but for a while here, on one station, unfortunately I had to listen to that because of the place I choose to work, and the person in charge of that radio had the station on, and I swear 2-3 times an hour this song came on. And after a while, no matter how bad that song is, you get used to it. Not saying these songs are that way as far as being bad. Everything was great for the Banger Music Awards, but when you're used to a song over something new, sometimes that tends to give leverage. But then a really great song that's new, the dichotomy of it all, takes precedence. Like, wow, this is a awesome tune. points out the band Dirt and their song My Own Curse. What a great song. It's a fabulous tune. So when we got it in, it was submitted to us, and we were like, crap, this is good. We might have to rethink the metal category a little bit. Because we had everything kind of figured out, and then we were just going to take the last-minute entries and sort them through and see if they took out, somebody in another category. You know what I'm saying? Know what I'm saying, bro? Talking on ghetto on the radio here. Know what I'm saying, bro? That's what I'm saying. Get in trouble these days for hate speech if you just have a little fun on the radio. Don't do parodies that are too realistic, because that gets you in trouble as well. So don't forget the Battle of the Jams. Third round is going on right now, and that we'll know the finalists in, I'm thinking, like a week, maybe a week and a half. We'll know who the finalists are, and then we just move on to the Banger Music Awards. And I want to tell you, most of you don't know what I went through all year planning this Banger Music Awards. I spent every moment I could right after we finished the 2019 Banger Music Awards, and everything we learned by producing that one, we adjusted, we modified, and we made this one better in the prepping stages. Many of you don't know how this Banger Music Awards came to be. About 2 years, the first Music Awards, a couple years back, we did it on a whim, no plan, nothing. We said, heck, let's do this and let's see if anybody would be interested, if this is even something that would be viable. So we went ahead and did it on a whim, no plan, nothing. We learned a lot. It was fairly successful. We actually had a little better response than we thought we would get, but it was small in comparison to this year. We took what we learned there and we said, was this good enough to do a second one? Would people be interested enough to do a second one? So we pondered on it for about a half year, and then about that half a year mark, we said, yeah, let's do a little planning for this. We did it. Much more successful, much more response. It was great. We had 14 presenters from radio stations all across the globe, and it was just at bands, and so many people participated in the chat room, and we were like, this is awesome. Now that we learned what we did in the first year, and we applied that, and we took it into the second year, and we improved on what we did from no plan to small plan, we decided as soon as these Banger Music Awards were over, the 2019, that we'd get right to work on the 2020. And all year, in every moment that we had a chance, we were adjusting, getting everything ready along the way. If a really great song came in, we'd kind of plop it in a category. As soon as this is a really good rock song, let's put it in this category, because we didn't have a lot in the beginning. So, and that also makes it so you don't forget some tunes, right? We kept a detailed list, speaking of that, of all the Crank It or Jank It songs we played, how they were received, all the new music, because the new music didn't fall into that Crank It or Jank It bracket. Those were specifically played during that segment, and because of that, they were part of that 40-band Crank It or Jank It Battle of the Jams competition, which is now down to the top 10. And by the end of the week, as I said earlier, we're going to be having the finalists being announced. And it was all because of the bands putting the effort in. And that's what the Banger Music Awards, from my perspective, why it's been so successful this year in particular, because not what we increased last year, we're blowing that off the charts. We've eviscerated all the gains we had last year, pale in comparison to this year. And that was because we planned it well, and we implemented everything on time, when we expected to have it done. And it's been working. I mean, the plan has almost gone to the letter up until recently. And that's with the t-shirts. So we were trying all year to be ahead of the game so we'd be ready for November. So in September, we had the logo. Back in August, we asked our graphic artist to get a logo done. We didn't even need it till November, but we got on it. As we're doing all these other things. By September, the logo was done. We were looking for suppliers in October to give us our first batch of t-shirts. Went through all different kinds. We asked for recommendations. Finally, we had one that came from a fairly reliable source. They use this person. They use this company. So by Halloween, not only did we have all the graphics ready from the t-shirt guy, we had our order underway. We had given the company our first order, telling them we will have an initial order at the beginning and a second order come probably at the end of December. That was the idea. We said we needed it no later than the 15th of November, which was our first mistake. Well, our second mistake, and we'll get to that. Now, this company assured the deadline would be met, and when they got around to giving me a total price, which was on the 4th, 5 days after I had put in my order, I offered to pay them in cash. I had the cash. I was going to go meet them, pay them in cash. They told me 7 to 10 days, and it's no problem paying them cash. They're about 2 hours away, and I was going to go there and bring in the money. 7 to 10 days. Great job. Okay. This was November 5th because it took them a day to get back with me. See, I thought they were done. When they gave me the price and they were like, hey, it's this, ready to pay, I was like, okay, they're done. Cool. But I assumed too much, which was another mistake I had made. This whole t-shirt thing, you can see it's starting to fall apart, right? So 7 to 10 days from the 5th, that was going to be the 15th. He assured me it would be there on the 15th. We'd be all set. Well, on the 15th, he sends me a message around noon asking me if I'm available. I got home around 4, and I messaged him right back. No, sorry, dude, I was at work, but I'm ready. I'll be there Monday. I can come out Monday because I had that day wide open. I had a little work in the morning, and then I took off for that 2-hour drive on Monday. Well, he said, no, it can't be Monday, but it can be Wednesday the 20th. That's when I knew there was a little bit of a problem. So I was like, okay, now I'm a little worried. I'm like, if this guy has made the shirts, he'd be bugging to get my money. But he's putting me off. Okay, all right. So it would be the 20th, 5 days behind schedule. I told him I would have to have them shipped now because I couldn't make the trip on Wednesday due to some other factors. I have a show to do, and there's a lot of other stuff to prepare for. So I told him, can't do it, bro. Ship it to me. He says, that's no problem. I asked how much. He gave me a price. Great. Okay. Tuesday night, I called to confirm everything. Tell him I'll call him at a specific time, like 11:15, 11:30-ish, to pay him on the Wednesday. Agreed. And when I called, no answer. Just no answer. Just a voice machine. So I left a message thinking, well, if he's out to lunch, he could just call me back. That's simple enough. And then I pay him to get them shipped out. Because it was already going to take a couple days to get here from, even if it took a day, it was still behind, but whatever. Well, I get a reply the next day on Facebook. Hey, man, I left you a message. I checked my phone. I was like, well, nobody called. Okay, let's check my voicemail. Well, there's no voicemail there. So my assumption is that he doesn't have them t-shirts done. He didn't have them done. And at this point, there's no point in waiting for this guy any longer, because if he's taking forever to reply, and when we agree to a time to call and I try to pay and then he doesn't call back, he doesn't actually want my money, which is crazy. Crazy that he doesn't want money, but hey, if that's how people do business sometimes. So I could blame him for the whole thing, but really it's my bad. I should have taken somebody else. Maybe somebody who was a little more expensive, because he had a great price. And I said, well, that's a great price. I took it right away. When he said this price per shirt, not the total, but this, I was like, yeah, sold. I'll bring in the money. Let's go. But it's a big learning moment. Because, you see, even though this well laid out plan, I mean, it was crafted very well. It took time. I had a nice model for the whole year. And everything's been falling into place perfectly. It took one bad decision to foul up a major part of how we were going to make all of this happen. I was banking on those t-shirts, the small investment that was coming out of my pocket, to make us enough money to buy trophies and other things. Because there's a lot of stuff that goes into these music awards, and I'm not the richest fella. And like I said, I could blame the lame slacker, but that's the easy way out. It's on me for making the bad decision. And I have to live with it. Now we're going to still try to do something as far as t-shirts or something else, but the reality is simple. The turnaround times and the holiday are going to make any kind of t-shirts getting here Christmas or later, which is really defeating the whole purpose of the t-shirts. I mean, it renders the entire endeavor useless. And it doesn't matter how well this plan was laid out, because it's been going perfect, folks, and you guys have been great. Someone or something can foul it up. And when we get back, we'll talk about even the best laid plans, like the Banger Music Awards, can be fouled up if you don't even have a plan. We'll be right back, folks.
Hey, Uncle Shady, where are they going? Hey, you, get back here. The John Lebang Show will be right back.
Does your house need a paint job, but you don't want to do it? Then call Tom at Quality One Painting. He can handle all of your interior and exterior painting needs. He gives free estimates and senior discounts. Call Tom at Quality One. 313-982-2986. That's 313-982-2986. Quality One Painting.
You're listening to the John Lebang Show.
It's better than an Irish convention.
If you don't have a well-laid plan, your chance for success decreases exponentially. And even with a well-laid plan, you might have something thrown in the mix there. Some kind of wrench that'll foul up a major part of it that you weren't expecting, that you even planned for in advance and took all the proper steps, except you made one bad decision by putting the wrong person in charge of something. And I see this with bands. They get a new song out, or they do something, a video shot, and they have premature ejaculation. They want to all over the place. I call it the premature ejaculating musician. They rush things out without a plan. They have an idea, but they don't do any of the steps to make that a successful endeavor. And then in the end, it either comes out mediocre or it's a complete failure. And some people are okay with mediocre. And that's because they don't have the big plan. They get an idea and let's just do this. But let's say you want to make a music video. There's a lot to go into it. You can't just go ahead and go, let's film something and then put it up on YouTube. I mean, that stuff looks janky. So as a public service announcement to bands, I'm going to kind of run you through what you should be doing. And we're going to use a music video as the basis for this conversation. Now, when you're putting together a music video, it's more than just filming stuff and putting it up on YouTube, like I said. You got to think about the overall message and the visual concept. You have to think about location. Does it fit what you're trying to do? Does it look right? Does it have the necessary elements to make your video's message successful? Another thing that I've noticed people really lack when they are trying to do these videos, and you got to think of the overall sound quality. Are you going to use the live audio from the event you're filming live, or are you going to overdub so that you're using a track you have professionally recorded aligned with the video to make it look real nice? Now, when you're doing the overdub, where you're having a professionally recorded audio track mixed and mastered at some kind of studio, and you're going to put a video to it, all you got to do is lip sync. That's pretty easy because you have the great quality audio. But these bands that want the live recording, you can't just use the recordings off the camera and expect it to sound good, especially if you have cameras that are moving constantly. If you're going to do a live video, you have to think about getting an engineer and having a way to record off the board, so the sound quality is there. You don't want to use the audio quality from a camera. They may have decent quality, but you want something that is mixed through a mixer and you can master separately. A lot of times these bands who are planning videos aren't thinking of the lighting. Not only for the filming purposes, where it's too dark, you can't get any good shots, or even worse, where there's too much light and everybody's bleached out. It kind of reminds me of this one guy I filmed about 2 years ago who never paid me. Because when I started showing him how janky his non-planned video was. See, I showed up at the place and he had all this white particle board on the walls, and he had it taped up with white tape, and you could see all the jankiness to it. He never planned this video out. He was just going to be in front of a white background. And you could see all the tape, and you could see everything. And, well, I was like, I got to fix this, because I'm not going to put out he's not going to want to pay me for a video that looks janky, no matter the fact that he was the one who designed the setup for the visual. So I over contrast everything and I bleached some stuff out just to hide all that. Well, he didn't like it. Then I showed him the regular. He didn't like it. And I'm like, what do you want me to do, dude? You didn't hire me to plan your video out for you. You hired me to come in and film you. And I have to work with what you give me. Then you hire me to edit. And I have to work with the film quality. And the lighting was bad. The backboards were bad. And this bald guy who wore wigs all the time and had to change wigs every other instrument never thought of all these details. And when the video didn't turn out great, it was my fault. He didn't pay me. He wanted a professionally recorded video, edited and all that, but he gave nothing to planning it out to where it would look proper. You see, when you do these things, you have to ask people. You can't just assume your little plan's going to work. You have to ask people who have done it. And if you've never done it before, you're going to screw it up. Also, you have to think about wardrobe. Wardrobe's a big key. You can't go on in an Ajax shirt or looking like grandpa on stage. I mean, unless that's your bit. And if you're going to do the grandpa bit on stage, then get a crutch and get the sweater and honk over and maybe have a rocking chair on the stage. But when you're filming a video or you're planning to have a video filmed, wardrobe should be something that should be taken into consideration. 3 guys in the band can't look like they've dressed up for the occasion to look like rock stars, and then the other guy shows up in a Clorox bleach t-shirt wearing his grandpa sunglasses down. See, you got to live the bit. If you're gonna play the old man bit up, live it up. Own it, as they would say. After wardrobe, you have to decide what kind of crew. Now that you've got the idea for the video figured out, you've got the plan, you've got the wardrobe, you've planned for the lighting, you've planned for the filming. Now you go, okay, how big of a team do we need? Well, how many cameras are you? If you're going to run 2 cameras, you need 2 people there. Somebody's running the lighting, so you need a 3rd person there. Do you need roadies? You might need roadies. So depending on how many roadies you need, there's more people there. Who's going to do the makeup if you're going to do the makeup? Who's going to watch over the wardrobe? Who's going to make sure you look good before you go on? All these things should be taken into consideration when you're doing a video. Now that you've got all that figured out, you go, okay, now there's got to be a budget for all this, because this ain't cheap. We got 2 cameras, we got 2 road crew guys, this, that, and the other thing, plus the band members. We need a budget of so much money. Anywhere from $200 to $2,000, it doesn't matter. But if you have a $200 budget, don't expect a whole lot. And then the editing, to add this in there, because this is also very seldomly taken into consideration. Editing to do a really good video takes anything from 2 to 6 weeks, depending on how much footage, when the audio, how the audio, and when the audio comes in, how long it takes to sync it up. You know, each camera takes a while to sync up, then cutting pieces. There's a whole lot behind that. And that can take 2 to 6 weeks. Then you might have reshoots. Just did this with the band recently. First stuff that we filmed was okay, but it was lacking in some areas, so I offered reshoots for free. Because I run it like that. When you do a reshoot, you probably should plan it out. Whatever mistakes you made in that first one, whatever the guy doing the video told you to fix, you should fix that so it looks better. You don't want your reshoot to be even worse quality than your original shoot. All that costs money and time. And now you're wasting it all. Then you need a release date. And if you think you can do something in 2 or 3 weeks, you're rushing it. You're doing that premature ejaculation musician thing. You need a release date of 2 to 3 months in advance. Perfect example is the Ardana. They're currently working on, they filmed it already, but they're currently getting ready to release a video in February, towards the latter part of February. But they're already promoting it. Pre-promotion. They know that the release date is not till then because you had to prep it. They're doing all the stuff right. And if you go look at the Adarna, they're from Seattle, and watch their videos, you can see they're well planned. They're paid for. Somebody's really doing some really great work with their videos. It's all worked out. They're thinking about it. They made sure that everything, and then they do it so far in advance. That way everything can be done. And when that release date shows up, boom, it runs smooth. That's where I failed with the music awards. I should have had the damn t-shirts done 3 weeks earlier. That was my failure. But like I was saying with the Ardana, they're pre-promoting, and that's something you should do. You plan something far in advance, and then you build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up, build it up. And then when you're ready to release it, have some products ready to sell. Because if you're releasing something new and you're not going to make any money and it costs you all this money to produce, then all you're doing is hurting your band. Because that money can pay for future recordings, pay whoever put in the initial amount to pay for all this stuff, pay them back, whatever it might be. Buy more promotional material, but whatever. Plan on this stuff. With your pre-promotions, have products ready, and be ready to capitalize on sales in the first 3 to 5 days. Those are the basics. You handle all that, you're going to optimize your chances of having a successful video launch. And that's what that's about. Your video is going to look great. Everything's going to sound great. But if you rush it, if you planned to do a video by telling your video guy, hey, I need that edited for this one guy so we can get a video for him, and I need it in a couple days, your video guy who has to edit it all is going to look at you and go, really? You expect me to make a video look decent in a couple days and then ship it off to somebody? Nobody knows it's coming. You're losing all your potential steam by just doing the premature ejaculating musician move. Slow down, guys. Another really good band to be paying attention to is the band Limberlost. They've had all this stuff in the works, recording, making it sound really great, and they could have jumped the gun, but looks like they've got some smart management over there holding them off. Now they got singles coming out a little bit later down the line. Build it up and slowly build these up because they have a plan. And without a plan, you're never going to have a successful video launch, album launch, whatever it is. So with that being said, folks, we're going to take a quick time out. More stuff on the other side, less music related and more news based.
Right after this,
Don't move a muscle.
the John Lebang Show will be right back.
With lots of fun and excitement. Yes! Are you in need of commercial or residential window cleaning? Do you need your office cleaned? Maybe custodial work? How about some gutter cleaning? If you do, then call Pane in the Glass. For a beautiful shine that's crystal clear, call Pane and the Glass. You can find them on Facebook at Pane and the Glass.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
If you want to contact the John Lebang Show, feel free to send an email to jlebang@live.com. And if you're on Twitter, look him up at John Lebang. And don't forget to go to his Facebook page at The John Lebang Show. Banger. Now here's John.
I don't know how you guys feel about this, and maybe it's just me, but I think people are completely oblivious. They are unself-aware of how annoying they are. Just the show I was talking earlier, and the crowd that was there. But these people were so clueless that they would walk right in front of me filming. Here I am filming a band for their video. And a host of people, there were other places they could walk behind me. Plenty of room. I stood in front of because there wasn't a whole lot of room to film, but I stood in front of a pool table that was not being used. And it was just a few feet from the band's. People could have walked behind, but no, they all chose to walk in front. Oblivious to what it just ruined the filming. Now in the editing stage, it's going to be so much more work because people don't care. Here we had this whale on top of it. How clueless they are. Have this whale of a guy grabbing the microphone during songs and attempting to wail his voice terribly. Then when he was done with that, he'd go over there and grab his hippo girlfriend by the boobs and by whatever else in their public display of grossness. Two large beached mammals flailing a wail on each other, body fat bouncing here and there. It was beautiful. But I don't know why people are so oblivious and they don't understand that what they're doing, like they're not self-aware to know that they're a completely obnoxious person. And they don't try to fix it. They just continue being obnoxious. And to step on a stage or where the band is playing, because it wasn't really a stage, and to grab a microphone and start singing in it, I tell you, I have a couple stories on that. I was in this band, Bliss, many moons ago in the early 1990s. We were playing, I think it was the IROC, but it was a long time ago, so if I get the venue incorrect, please forgive me, because in case somebody who might have saw that show, we had some dude jump up on stage. In fact, there's a couple times, but this one time, he jumped up on stage and he almost knocked over our bass player because he bumped right into him while he's playing a song, and it screwed his playing up. So our bass player, who had very short temper and liked to indulge in scotch on occasion, often it was occasion, but he indulged he didn't put up with that, and he clocked the dude with his bass. And I'm all for that, because that dude had no right to be on stage. Another time a dude jumped on stage, and I just shouldered him right off stage, because that's not your place. And you guys should be self-aware of that. You're not the musician. You don't belong there. That's the reason why they have security guards at these big concerts. And they have barriers to keep the people away from the musicians. Because people are crazy. And they'll jump on stage not knowing that they might be putting one of the musicians in danger. Because if the musician's rocking and he's running and this person comes out of nowhere and accidentally trips them or bumps them, and they could get hurt, they could fall, they could break their instrument. And what are you going to do? So that's why they keep these crazy people from jumping on the stage whenever they can. And it doesn't matter, because the crazy people will find ways around and still get up there. You know, and I really wish I had one of them teleportation devices. I wish somebody would invent that. Maybe we will. Just a teleportation device that we could send all the unaware ignoramuses to the planet stupid. Blast all the morons over to that planet. You know, the idiot driver who drives in front of you or cuts you off. Blast them. Teleportate them the hell out of there. The guy who jumps on stage, teleportate him out of here. His girlfriend, for even dating the fat bugger, teleportate her out of there, because she's not smart enough to know the guy's a scumbag. What about the unprepared person at the checkout line, holding up everybody? Teleport them out of there. Send them to the planet of stupid. What about the annoying neighbor's dog? Zap it out of here. The lazy ass boss. The crooked politician. We just teleportate him out of here. I wish I had a device that could do that. Because now that's talking population control. Do you understand how peaceful the world would be if we wouldn't be surrounded by all these people who we could just teleport off to planet stupid? Be beautiful. And with that, we've got some phone calls coming in. So we're going to go out to them. Boris in Moscow, Michigan, listening in on Alien X Radio. What say you?
Hello, many-time caller. I like your idea. I would have teleported my ex-wife before our divorce.
Now there's a good idea. Too bad that tech wasn't available 6 years ago.
That's what I'm saying.
Thanks for your call. Now, to be clear, we're not saying zapping people out of existence We're just saying send them the hell out of here. Doesn't have to be the planet stupid. Could be the dimension of no return. I don't care. Now our next call comes in from Canada and Gordy.
Hello, eh? I think we should send you somewhere, eh?
And where would that be, sir?
Well, I don't know, eh? Maybe a hockey game, eh?
Well, the way the Wings are playing, that might be torture. Thanks for your call.
Bye, eh?
Our next call comes in from Washington, D.C. and the Donald. What say you?
I wish I could send Nancy and Shifty Shift to Impeachment Island.
Is that like Fantasy Island, sir?
That's a good one.
Well, I do my best, sir.
Maybe I should hire you as my speechwriter. I'm always looking for someone new.
How much does it pay?
More than you're making now.
I'll take it, sir.
Great.
I need a new job.
Hang on, I got a tweet about this. Hey everyone, Big D here. Just hired a guy on the radio. Alright, you're hired. First thing I want you to do is bring me a roll of TP.
And how soon do you need it?
I need it right now. I'm in the middle of toilet tweeting.
Sir, I'm in Detroit. I can't bring you TP at the moment.
Well then you're fired.
Okay, sir. Thanks for the job and the call. Our next call comes in from Bernie.
Crazies are people too!
On some level, I suppose you're correct. But what's your point?
I need all the crazies to vote for me! Goodbye!
Well, I'm sure they will. Thanks for your call. Pedro's our next caller. He's listening in to us on Naja Radio in California.
Hey, man. I want to order carry-out, man. I want 2 tacos with sour cream, man.
Sir, this is not a Mexican restaurant. This is a radio show.
Oh, do you have any tamales, man?
No, sir. This is a radio show.
No, I don't care, man. I just want some tacos. Maybe some tamales.
Okay, sir. It'll be ready in 10 minutes. Thanks for your call.
Gracias, amigo.
Now let's get to some of the things in the news. Men would rather see favorite team win Super Bowl than candidate win elections. Now check on how many people they're basing this on. In a phone survey of 712 adults, 28% of guys admitted to caring more about the big game than the next leader of the free world, according to a press release from Seton Hall Sports Polls. This is news, ladies and gentlemen. In a sample selection of 712 people, let's just say, because we don't have the actual data here, but we'll go with the norms, it's about 50-50. So on a sample of roughly 361 people, they're saying that 28% of guys care more about their sports football team winning the Super Bowl than they do about the president. And maybe that's true or on this sample. But to base anything on 700 and some people and then say that that's an accurate study and then make news about it is ridiculous. Of course, they're saying that women, by contrast, tackled the question with a more wholesome worldview, with only 11% saying they'd rather see their sports team win instead of their presidential candidate. See, this is real simple to decipher, folks. Men are stupid. Women care about all the real issues, and men are just stupid morons who like sports and dumb things, and women are the caring individuals who really care about the environment and rights and all sorts of real issues that are determined by the political ruling class. We're going to take a quick time out. When we get back, we'll cover a little news, and then stay tuned, folks.
Smoke them if you got them.
Because the John Lebang Show will be right back.
After this. That's guaranteed. Yes. At Absolute Skin and Body Care, they only use the best laser equipment in the industry so that you receive the best results possible. They'll explain all the procedures in detail and answer all of your questions. Absolute Skin and Body Care. If you're looking for skin rejuvenation, laser lipo, or laser hair removal, call Absolute Skin and Body Care. They're located at 37625 Ann Arbor Road, Suite 105 in Livonia, Michigan. Absolute Skin and Body Care. Their office phone numbers are 248-305-3000. That's 248-305-3000. Absolute Skin and Body Care. You're listening to the John Lebang Show. It's huge. Now I got to tweet about it. In New York, some kind of disturbance broke out among hundreds of teens who were hanging out at Queens Center Friday afternoon. Hanging out, which means loitering. That used to be illegal. Isn't it strange how all the things we grew up with that were illegal now, even if they are illegal, they aren't enforced? Because that is especially for certain groups that they aren't enforced for. So because of that fact, well, they can call it hanging out when they were really loitering. Now, the situation was described as a large disturbance by police. Teens were throwing things and causing mayhem. The New York Police Department arrested one female for attacking another girl who was hurt and whose phone was taken. In unrelated news, but it's kind of related because it's police-based, police are investigating a mysterious large fireball that fell to the earth. It was spotted in Salem, Oregon, in the southwest of Polk County. Incident was reported as a plane crash, but they've looked and they've sent helicopters and they can't find a plane crash. Now, in more unrelated news, San Francisco and Washington, D.C. top Census Bureau table for percent of same-sex household couples. San Francisco and Washington, D.C. are ranked 1 and 2 on a newly published Census Bureau table that lists 18 U.S. select cities. And then you run down, and I'm looking, there's Seattle, there's Portland, there's Denver, there's Boston, Phoenix, Columbus. Everything's got more men, except for Columbus, Ohio actually has more lesbians than they do gay men, according to the census data, which I still haven't been censused yet. I'm feeling left out. I'm feeling left out of being censused. I'm so distraught at the moment. It's making me talk about this stuff. Other people being censused because I'm not being censused, and I'm so upset about it. There's Austin, San Diego, Indianapolis, Chicago. Indianapolis has 57% lesbian compared to 43% gay men. Well, you got to have more lesbians somewhere, and I guess they're hanging out in Indianapolis, Indiana. Why? I don't know. I don't know why that's the hot spot for lesbian activity, but apparently that is. Los Angeles is in there, Chicago, Dallas, New York, San Antonio, Philadelphia, and Houston. And I'm wondering, really? Where's Ferndale on the list? I mean, no Detroit area city at all is included. I think that's unfair. We have a gay community right there in Ferndale. You're telling me it's not more than 2 or 3% in Ferndale? Have you been to Ferndale? It's more like 6 or 7%. So I think it's unfair that Ferndale was left off this list. I mean, we make other lists. Worst city for murder, worst city for gun violence, worst city for corruption, worst city for potholes, worst sports teams, worst graduation rates, worst poverty, worst idiot drivers, worst place to vacation in November, December, January, February, and March. So for some reason, this is pure Michigan over here, pure Michigan crap. Can you imagine someone seeing the ads for Pure Michigan, by the way? Seeing these ads and going, "Hey, Loretta, how about we go to Michigan for our next vacation?" I don't know. I just read the census data that Detroit is the worst place for something or other. Oh, honey, that's just fake news. Plus, we don't have to go to Detroit. We can go up to Flint. Oh, I heard there's something bad about that water up there. Well, maybe there's a lot of Mexicans. You know you're not supposed to drink that Mexican water. I reckon I don't know. We can go to Rouge River, or maybe we can visit your mother. Rusty, you know my mama is dead. Well, that's what I'm saying. We could visit her in hell. In other unrelated news, Harvard-Yale game ends in near darkness after climate change protest.
Most protesters left after about an hour when they were escorted off by police, who then told about 24 people who remained they were under arrest. The field was ultimately cleared and the game resumed. Now listen to this, folks. Police in yellow vests lined alongside the sit-in but did not intervene. When the 15-minute halftime expired, the protest continued. The players returned to the locker room as dozens of fans attempted to stream onto the field to join in. Fans remaining in the stands began to boo because they came to see a football game, not to watch your stupid protest, which you shouldn't have been protesting in the first place at a football game. The chants of, hey, hey, ho, ho, fossil fuels have got to go, hey, hey, ho, ho, fossil fuels have got to go. So, these people want you to not have cars or planes or anything related to fossil fuels. Now, how do these respectful people on that field propose we power the world for the next 50 years, if not longer? Nuclear power, does that make them happy? No, probably not. They expect wind and solar to handle all the needs, which you can't, but to handle all the needs to power the universe. It's my opinion that they should have all been arrested for criminal trespassing. The Constitution provides for peacefully addressing your grievance with your government. Nowhere is there a right to disrupt any citizen, business, private event. Now, a football game is a private situation. You have to buy tickets that are limited. It's a private event open to the public. But once all those tickets are sold, you can't get in. So you have to be an exclusive member of a ticket to be inside. In other unrelated news, Phoenix to stop using red light speed enforcement cameras. This program generated more than $7 million in net income for the city between September 1st, 2009 through September 30th, 2018. From more than 205,000 complaints that were filed in the court for traffic violations. These damn things are popping up all over the country. But what I hate even worse than this, unmarked police cars or the concealed police cars. If I need a cop, I want to be able to find them. But I can't find them because, well, they're unmarked or they're sitting there lying in wait to pull somebody over. When did the government get the right to become bullies and predators? As we've seen with the president, they can create false FISA documents. That's coming out. Oh, yeah, the new FISA report is going to be stunning, folks. And this is just the tip of the iceberg. Have to postpone the days of our lives one more time. And I'm sure you really don't want to hear any more from the impeachment hearings because I really don't care anymore. We know for a fact that nobody had firsthand information that Trump did anything wrong. There's no indication of it. There's hearsay, secondhand information, and the Sondland guy went out and said Trump never wanted a quid pro quo. So with that being said, we're going to get on out of here, folks. Thank you for joining me once again. I'd like to thank all of our affiliate stations for carrying the John Lebang Show. Thank you so much. Please go to our website, www.jlebang.com. Vote in the Banger Music Awards. Listen to all the great bands. Check out all the other content that we have there. It's really awesome. There's plenty to do. With that being said, thank you again for listening. And until the vibrations of my vocal cords reach your ears again, I'm John Lebang thanking you. And I'll see you next time right here on the John Lebang Show. Signing off for now. Good night.
T-minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We have liftoff. Tune in again next week. Same time, same space, same station.
resistance.